you just like a guy or you don't. I've known him for a long time.
USA! 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 USA!
Okay. Hi, folks. Welcome back. This is the shit show.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so when I had to click when I went to the destinations, I had to click on all of them. I don't see us on Rumble, but I'm pretty sure we're on YouTube now.
Okay.
Let me see.
I wasn't gonna say anything because I was like, I'll give
Okay.
him a minute and then I'll let him know that we're not on Rumble.
Okay.
But are we on YouTube?
We're on my YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We're on the Troublemaker channel on YouTube. So at least we're on YouTube now, and we'll figure out the Rumble situation a little later. But hi, welcome to this week's shit episode.
Same shitty people, same shitty
So
channel.
I don't think I yeah, so you have to click when I go live, I have to hit all the destinations at once, and I have to set the Rumble up, I guess, before. I don't know. But is what it is. We can put it on Rumble after this. Welcome to this week's episode of Business Party Podcast.
Yes.
We're not going to go into everything we just did about 10 minutes ago. But
No.
real quick, how was your week?
It was it was good. We did the eclipse thing. We saw a little bit of it. It was really weird actually, because like where I am in North Carolina, like we didn't get a full eclipse, but like the way that it looked outside, it was very eerie-ish. Like kind of like how you see that they use like in the cinematography of like Walking Dead, like during the day.
It was
kind of like that.
It was weird, but it was because I caught the last end of it, like a little bit of it. Because everybody was telling me like, oh yeah, it's gonna be 2:00, but I don't know. Is it 2:00 Eastern, 2:00 Central, 2:00 what? So I had no idea, and I also went. There's gonna be 737 pictures, anyway. So I'm really not gonna have to go outside and really just like, oh look, there's the sun. There's no sun. Okay, everybody go back in. I knew I was gonna get like.
It was cooler than that. Okay. You and Biz were funny because I was out there. I had like my sunglasses on with the glasses, and I had the glasses over my phone to get pictures and stuff. My son was like super excited about it, and then he looked at it for 5 seconds. He made me drive all over God's green country to find fucking solar eclipse glasses. Okay. To the point where my husband came home and gave us some because he got some from his office, like all over the place. The kid literally looked at it for 2 seconds and then he was like, all right, I'm going to go inside and play. I was like, motherfucker. I literally drove around God's green earth to find these things. And you're just like, okay, cool. And then gone. And then I thought I had like one of those, like I went blind. I had a really bad headache for the rest of the day. And I was like, that's what happens when you stare at the sun for so long. Well, I didn't think I was going to be that into it. I was like, who gives a fuck? And then I was like, oh my God, it's so cool.
Well, I found you found out that people after the thing, people kept Googling how long until you go blind. So, I mean,
I know there was an article in like People magazine. It's like how to know if you were affected by the solar eclipse. Like, yeah,
you're blind. You're just dumb and blind. I'm trying to find. Here we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I mean, you could have been like Maxine Waters.
Oh no, it's Cheryl Jackson Lee.
This woman is in charge of laws, and she can't even put on fucking glasses on top of her glasses. Look at her.
someone who is they're talking about how she's yeah, she was in Texas.
She doesn't know. Look at what the fuck was the
for?
Just act like you can see.
Just act like you can.
Just act like you can see.
Oh my lord. Well, because when you wear the eclipse glasses, like you can't see anything.
No,
it's like having like tinfoil over your eyes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, so that way you, like a welder's mask, like so you can kind of you're supposed to only see the but she couldn't put the fucking glasses on. She like, what the fuck? And this woman is in charge of laws and passing bills. No wonder why she can't fucking read them. No wonder why we're just in fucking debt to our eyeballs. She's just like, just act like you can read it.
It has to pass for us to know what's in it.
What the fuck? I just people are just fucking dumb, man. I don't know. Let me see what this shocked me because like I'm still in awe of some of the people who are coming out for Trump. And like this was by 50 Cent.
Okay.
This was retweeted by 50 Cent.
Oh my god.
Like it's amazing. It's it's nice to see. I don't know what the hell that was. It's nice to see finally people are just like coming to their senses and realizing that fucking idiot, that orange-headed dum-dum is the best that we have. Best that we have. And unfortunately, it's a wake-up call for a lot of people because it's getting worse and worse, man. It's getting nicer to see people actually opening their eyes and talking about it, but there's some fucking nut jobs. Like, did you see Jennifer Lewis? I think her name is.
Jennifer Lewis. From where's she from?
She's an actress. She is severely deranged. This woman has some problems. Is this like listen
it's
to
like, what point do people say like, okay, I think it's time to get off the crazy coaster?
Well, listen to what this enchantress, this smart lady has to say.
Okay.
If that man gets in, as soon as he takes the oath, he will have generals walk down the steps of the Capitol. He will take a hammer and break the glass where the Constitution is, and he will tear it up in our faces and say, now, I'm the king of the fucking world.
What?
You will bow down, bitches. He will punish everybody that didn't vote for him.
Let me tell y'all how I know this shit. I know it because I know what mental illness looks like. That mania is unstoppable.
See, this motherfucker's Hitler. He didn't come to play.
That is Trump derangement syndrome. She really thinks, yeah, she's Delulu. Like she really thinks that Trump is going to have somebody come down with the generals, smash the Constitution, rip it up. First of all, it doesn't matter if he comes down and smashes the Constitution up. It's still law. Like these people think that just because they rip up a piece of paper that's it.
Right.
It's done. It's over with. But no, these people are fucking delusional and they're insane. They're insane.
It just bewilders me that people can look and see what's going on like right now and what's going on with like, you know, journalists being jailed for recording things that happened on January 6th and stuff and like different things in it. If they have any connection to Trump or because of Trump, like everyone's in jail or being prosecuted, but he's the one that's ripping up the Constitution and like going after his political enemies or whatever. Yeah. When like, and I think the funniest thing I ever heard was someone who I know was a Democrat that was talking about how the media is all for Trump.
Oh,
and I was like, what media? Well, you know, like Fox News. And I was like, and who else?
No. Fox News, OAN, Breitbart, you know, all the far right ones. And I'm going far right.
They're really mainstream.
They're mainstream media. They're so you have what in wrestling, which by the way, I watched WrestleMania. I'm back into wrestling. WrestleMania was amazing. It was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes took the title from Roman Reigns. The Rock was there. The Rock was wrestling on Saturday night. Then he came down to the ring Sunday. The Undertaker came down. John Cena came down. They were saying Stone Cold was going to come down, which he didn't come down. But
he was the one that drank the Busch lattes, right? Or no?
He drank Coors Light, but yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's some beer.
It's you shut your mouth, madam. It's not Days of Our Lives for men.
I agree wholeheartedly.
It is not. It is fantastic.
And they wear sluttier outfits.
The guys really do. But yeah, so it's like the media is like wrestling. Like you have the good guys and the bad guys, and Fox News is supposed to be the bad guys. Yet there's 1,000 good guys telling you all this. Like MSNBC is insane. They keep telling everybody that Trump, like, what are we doing here? You know, how are we gonna let this happen? Is he gonna let it? Like, I forget who said it the other day. And I don't know if I have the video, but some girl was talking about how the media is the news is supposed to tell us facts. They're supposed to give us facts and tell us. They're supposed to be the in between. They're supposed to be the ones who are telling us what's going on. Meanwhile, also what I heard was from a journalist that the only people that get called on really in the press room with Blinky, Kareem John Van Dam, is the first three rows are the only ones that get called on. And that's it. And Peter Ducey's just there to represent Fox News, basically. Yeah. And the other girl. But you know, there's no fair and balance with the news. They want to tell you what they want to tell you. And for the most transparent fucking government that Joe Biden said he was going to, she doesn't answer any questions. I don't have nothing for you on that. I don't have anything for you on that. We can't get into that. And then she goes into the Hatch Act like, well, you know, like, no, answer the fucking questions. You're supposed to be telling us we employed you. You are supposed to let us know. Besides, like, and people think this nowadays that, well, the government doesn't have to tell you. No, the government's supposed to tell us everything. They're not supposed to tell us where certain troops are. They're not supposed to divulge certain classified information. But we're supposed to know where our money's going. We're supposed to have a say in where our money's going. We're supposed to know what's going on with the country. We're supposed to have to say what's going on in the country, but they don't tell us shit.
Well, didn't you read like the 100,000-page bills that come out every year? Come on, the 100,000 pages of budget that's signed every year.
And
No?
and that's another thing. Like it's getting to a point where more and more videos of people like, how do they take out all this money every paycheck and I still owe them money? How do I still owe the government money when they continuously take out thousands of dollars from my paycheck, and then you're telling me I still owe money? How?
Well, yeah. Well, I just want to get back to the media thing real quick, though, too. It's like, it's funny because not only do you have media, but you have pop culture, like culture, like TV, film, music, everything is academia, all leans left. They all are leaning left. I was watching, so you know how I like Vanderpump Rules. Y'all know that, like, Housewives and all that other stuff is my guilty pleasure. Love it. Love it, mean it, K. So there's a spinoff of Vanderpump Rules called The Valley. And last week, an insult was laid on someone, and they called her a Republican, which automatically meant that she was racist. So they called her a racist and a Republican. And she's like, but I'm not a Republican. Didn't even address the racist part. She's like, I'm not a Republican. Well, it's an insult.
Yeah. Because it's all encompassing. If you're a Republican, you're automatically a racist. Which is funny because there are other races that are Republican. And then they call them the white face of white supremacy. And it's crazy.
The black face of white supremacy, or the brown face of white supremacy.
Or your whatchamacallit, white adjacent. That's another one they use. But
okay. But here's the thing, though. That whole thing, the reason why they can connect those things is because they associate whiteness with capitalism. Capitalism equals bourgeoisie, and it's all socialist. They're all socialist. They may not know that in what they're saying, but that's what all the socialists are saying. They're the ones that have equated whiteness with capitalism and capitalism with bourgeoisie. Like, I mean, the second dirty thing, like that video that we watched of that lady on Sunday, about the
4B movement,
about the Korean, the 4B movement. We didn't get to this part. We actually didn't even get to this part. But towards the end of that video, she talks about, those white supremacist capitalists. And I was like, she's a fucking socialist.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. Just so you know. So anybody out there, if you ever hear someone call a black person a white supremacist, or if you hear someone talk about how capitalism is evil and how it's connected to whiteness, it's because they're fucking socialists. Just so you know.
Well, I can't. No, because we're gonna go back to that because there's a video I want to show you on communism, and I discovered a Marxist communist that I didn't know existed. I forget his name, but I'll bring him up because Prax, I think his name is Prax Ben on TikTok. He's very smart when it comes to all this stuff, and he did a video and he was showing him, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole with videos of him. Wow. But I want to show a video of what you were saying about how the media is all up in arms. That the media has the left. It has Hollywood. It has all these people. It has the news. Because remember Joe Biden went and had the biggest fundraiser ever and raised $25 million. Remember that with Lizzo, the 3 presidents, and it was the biggest one ever.
And everyone calls her Melissa now. Call me Melissa.
And then what happened a couple days after that? Do you know?
Yes, I do.
What happened?
But do our viewers know?
What happened after
Trump
that?
Doubled it. Double down big dick Donald Trump. That's what Michael Rappaport can call him now.
Well, here's your news with, letting us know how it went.
Obama and Bill Clinton joining President Biden in a who's who of special guests tonight, reportedly raising $25 million.
$25 million. $25 million.
$25 million. $25 million.
Historic $25 million haul.
The most successful political fundraiser in American history.
1 week later.
Folks, Trump is down in Florida today, raising money from a bunch of hedge fund billionaires who want him to cut Social Security and Medicare and their taxes.
Night for the record books for former President Trump.
Over $50 million from the event. That's almost double what the Biden campaign raised during its fundraising event held with former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama.
Let me just clarify how big this was. Prior to last night, the largest single event fundraiser in politics ever was the one that Joe Biden had, and he needed 3 presidents to haul in $26 million. He needed celebrities like Lizzo, Stephen Colbert, Anna Wintour. We needed one man, Donald J. Trump, one president, to double that. It was history made last night. Some of the people who came last night to this event had not contributed at a level like this ever before. People are not sitting on the sidelines anymore. They understand what's at stake. It's a must-win election, and from the election integrity perspective, we're focused on it like a laser at the RNC.
She's going to run for president.
She probably is. She probably is. Or she'll be a vice president. She'll be a good vice president. But yeah, so they had all those presidents, Lizzo, Stephen Colbert, and all that. And the one clip they let out was the one where they were talking, making fun of Trump. And then now, all of a sudden, they go out and say Trump is down there with hedge fund millionaires. Now, I didn't do the research because I didn't have time. But the great and wonderful Tim Pool did the research. Tim Pool found out that the people who donated to Donald Trump, mainly between $200 and between what was it? I believe it was $200 and $499. Were median income families, everyday Joes.
Really?
4,000 and something donations.
Wow.
Joe Biden had, I think it was 400 or something like that between that. And the most he had, the biggest donations of, I believe, 250,000 or more. Joe Biden had about 400 and something, and Trump had about 100 and something. So,
wow.
Yeah. The people who are donating to Donald Trump, and you can go on I believe, I forget which website he said it was on. Maybe on Friday I'll have that information, but yeah, he said you can just go on the website on a website and it'll show you the donations by earned income, and it was more small people donating to Donald Trump because Joe Biden is not for the people. Joe Biden is for the hedge funds. Joe Biden is for the millionaires. Look at what he had, that thing in New York with the 3 presidents. And the tickets range from $100,000 to $200,000, I believe it was, per ticket. So $100,000 to $200,000 per ticket, and it was basically sold out.
And then you donate on top of that? Shit.
Yeah. So you're telling me the average Joe has that much money to go and see 3 of the presidents? Mind you, I don't think that Obama or Clinton did that for free at all. I wouldn't. I don't believe so. So
yeah. Well, I mean, even they got backlash on that though too, because when they had the big donor dinner in New York, that's when Officer Diller's funeral was, and Trump went to that, and everyone was like, "Okay, so you'll raise money, but Trump will actually go to this guy's funeral and like basically help for his mortgage to be paid off."
And so, so that was another thing that Tunnels to Towers, apparently, now nobody knows for sure. The wife of the slain husband stated that as soon as she got off the phone with Donald Trump, she was contacted by Tunnels for Towers, and that her mortgage was paid off by Tunnels for Towers.
Well, and I know that Dave Portnoy also donated a shit ton of money to Towers.
I think he raised
Towers. Oh my God.
Tunnels for Towers. I believe he also raised $250 million in a GoFundMe also for the family. Which, listen, people can shit on Dave Portnoy all they want. If you actually know and follow Dave Portnoy from a while ago, and I found Dave Portnoy, 6 years ago, he already had
huge.
Yeah, he was already big, and he's twice
One
as
Bite.
big.
Everyone knows the rules.
Exactly. I was there. Listen, I was watching One Bite. Everybody knows the rules from the beginning, from when he was mainly in Boston with that stuff. But when I've been watching them since before they came to New York, and they did nothing but shit on him. And he's made mistakes, and he's said he's made mistakes and whatnot. But that man grinded for years. I think it's been like 15, almost 20 years. That man has been grinding and trying to make Barstool Sports a thing. And now it is everywhere. I went to go get shampoo. Barstool Sports has their own fucking shampoo. So this man has been grinding and grinding and grinding. And for them to just come out and look what he did for the pizzerias during COVID.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even just pizza. It was like restaurants in general. He raised millions and millions of dollars just for restaurants, and like on all of his videos, he would tell people, "Hey, like put yourself in here. Let's get you guys some money so you can stay open." And they try to shit on him then too.
I know they did, and those people are fucking and they're garbage.
And we mean the left media.
the media,
the ankle biters
who just shit on people. Like, okay, I get it. There's some things that they don't like about him, but you know what they don't like about him the most is that he gets headlines. He's on Fox News. He makes money. He doesn't have to do any of this shit. He doesn't have to. But he does it because he cares about fucking people, and that's the true, and that's why people follow Barstool Sports, and that's why people will follow someone like him probably to the ends of the earth, because that man is good to people, and the mainstream media has forgotten what normal everyday people are like. They don't know, they don't care.
Did you see the meme or the post that Biden put up after Arizona Supreme Court made its decision about the abortion issue in the state?
No.
He's like, see, look what Donald Trump did. And all the comments were like, he didn't do anything. It was this probably like he didn't do anything.
But that's their whole thing is Donald Trump's bad, and apparently Donald Trump rules the entire world.
Yes,
and nobody else has a say. Nobody has free will to do anything they want. Biblical people, who follow God and everything like that, who understand you have free will. Apparently, nobody understands that. Nobody understands the free will part.
Listen. But don't you know, like a guy who's been in politics for 6 years, 5 or 6 years, right? Aside from the people who've been in politics for over, 30, 40, he's the one that is actually running the show. The people who've been in the government for more than half their life, they're just doing their civic duty, sitting by doing nothing. And then Donald Trump rolls in and he just controls everything. He brought Russia in. Now they're helping control, they pissed off their friends from China, everything. Eric Swalwell cried because his girlfriend just.
See what you get? Even your chair is Democrat.
Oh my God.
Your chair was trying
to button on accident. I was like, what is it? Oh my God.
See, they're trying to take you out. Even your chairs. They have control of They're controlling your chairs.
I was about to say something mean about Fang Fang. I guess the Lord was like, save yourself, girl. I got you. you.
But here we go. This is the fuck. I'm sorry. This woman is not likable. I don't care if you're a woman and you like her, you have problems.
Do you know? Okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? Think about that. And
Women's college basketball was not a brackets thing until 2022.
Wait, what? Hold on. My brain was thinking 2002.
Okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? Think about that. And
that
I'm about to say something very misogynist right now. I am. I'm going to say something very misogynist right now. It's because we've been beat up to the point where we actually have to pay attention to that crummy shit. That's why. Oh shit.
But it's
Did you see there's videos of a guy who's literally like, listen, do you want $1 or 2 tickets to a WNBA game? And everyone's like $1.
Even
like,
women.
Come on.
Even women were saying it.
So I couldn't help myself. She set herself up for that one.
Here we go.
Is she talking about what, it's not a mainstream thing that they
No, the brackets have been a part of women's tournaments since 1982. And the defense are alleging that she misspoke according to a report. They claim that she was trying to say the women's tournament only began using the branding since 2022.
Everyone knows what a bracket's for.
She said 2022. Okay, there's no misunderstanding what she said. She said 2022.
Yeah,
she didn't say 1982. She didn't say 1902.
I was thinking she's okay. Hold on. Let me get my thoughts in order for a second.
Let's see it again.
That the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022. Think about that. And talk about progress, better late than never, but progress. And what that has done, because of course when, I had a bracket, it's not broken completely, but I won't talk about my bracket. But you know what, just how we love March Madness, and even just now allowing the women to have brackets and what that does to encourage people to
All right, so this is what she's talking about. I think, okay, let me speak.
Do you speak woman? Can you speak woman to me? Because I heard what I heard.
I can speak. See you next Tuesday because I can be one. Anyway, so I think what she's talking about is maybe it's people weren't betting. It wasn't popular for people to bet on it. Is that you think? Is that what she means? I know because for the men's NCAA championship, that's I don't know. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. It just doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I honestly
don't know. As a woman who played collegiate sports, I can say this.
She's out of fucking touch, and this is what we keep telling people. These people are out of touch. She has no brain. None of them have a fucking brain. I'm sorry. None of them have a brain. They have people telling them what to say, and they just regurgitate things that they've heard online. She probably listens to somebody on fucking Twitter that's just yeah, brackets weren't a thing until 2022. And she goes, brackets weren't a thing until 2022. No research done. And she's
that's weird.
She's unlikable though. Did you see her in Puerto Rico where they were singing songs about her and they had to tell her, that they were singing shit, they were talking shit about her in a song? She doesn't. She's out of this fucking world. She's a space cadet. She has no idea what she's talking about, or she's yeah, I can understand maybe brackets weren't popular till 2022 because we were in the middle of a pandemic and there was no sports, and finally sports came back, and finally everybody was okay, women's basketball is a thing. Let and more people were paying attention to it. Probably, but to say that it wasn't a thing,
Right.
Until
I was like, wait,
2022.
hold on. I got confused because I was like, didn't the women like didn't they have their own tournament like before then? Like I don't that's is she and that's why I was like, is she talking about like brackets where like people like, oh hey, I'm gonna fill out my bracket? But like if in the actual game, yeah, there are brackets because that's how you see who goes to the fight. That's how they show it on TV as a bracket.
If we learned anything from The Ringer, people will bet on anything. So I'm guaranteeing there's been brackets since 1982, and I guarantee you people have been betting on it since 1982 because people will bet on frog races. Okay, so
I bet you my kid will eat that Cheerio on the floor first.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like,
but
yeah.
So to say she was 40 years off. She was 40.
I don't know. I feel like in a roundabout way, I'm trying to give her some grace, and I don't know why I'm doing that. Like maybe
let me paint this in a different.
I need some good karma, I guess.
Let me paint this in a different picture. Imagine this woman was the second in charge of the United States and didn't know that there were brackets for an NCAA tournament until 40 years after. Now, how do you feel?
Well, considering that she said, like, well, my bracket, you should check out my bracket. Well, which bracket did she fill out? The men's or the women's? That's what I want to know.
She probably filled out the men's, to be honest with you.
I know.
But this woman is second in line. Second in line. If Joe Biden, which could happen, goes into cardiac arrest and his doppelganger isn't there to step in for him.
Yeah.
I'm
waiting for Trump to announce who his VP pick is.
I just listen, and I want to be sick of this, but every day it just becomes a new ball of shit. It's just more and more. Every time you think it can't get stupider, it gets stupider. Like this. This woman, like I said, is second in charge, and she didn't know that brackets weren't a thing until 2022. And then she tries to make it a thing. Like, it's so empowering. Yes, for gamblers, it's empowering. But going back,
well, because here's the thing. Like, I feel as though sometimes with her, it could be like the whole, like, I'm a woman. See how downtrodden us women are, and now we're not, but we still are. Does that make sense? Like we're not, but we still are.
I would take that if she was a congresswoman or a senator. She's second in line to lead the country.
I know. Well, I'm not saying it made sense. I'm just saying.
I didn't want Mike Pence to be second in line to lead the country either. And I was mad that Trump picked him, not only because it was TP as his fucking sign, toilet paper, but
I didn't realize that until now. I really didn't.
I don't think we're ready for a woman president.
You know what? I think that could just be what we need.
Yeah. But okay, so going back to what you were talking about, the communists and everything like that. This is the video I wanted to show you. Because all these kids think that communism is great, socialism is great.
Yeah.
If we
when
have
you explain it like a 5-year-old, it sounds great, right?
Well, let me go out of the full screen. This gentleman, his name is Richard Wolff, who is at the top of this screen. This led me down a rabbit hole for this gentleman. And let me tell you, it's not good. This is what all the kids think is going to lead them into, he's saying all the key words too. Like everything like, yeah, socialism bad. It's holding back people, all this stuff. Well, let me put it this is going to be simple for everybody.
Final question to you, Professor Wolff. Under your system of worker cooperatives, would I still get my PlayStation 5?
Absolutely. You'd have to struggle a little bit for it. You'd have to talk to your fellow workers. You'd have to talk about the distribution of income. You'd have to compare your desire for PlayStation against all the other interests of all the other people. It wouldn't be something you worked out on your own with your particular boss in any way. It would have to be a democratic decision. You'd have to come to terms with that, the way you do with democratic decisions now in our society, to the extent that we have them.
That was Professor Richard Wolff, one of the American Socialist top guys, a Marxist economist. And what he's saying here is that if he gets his way, you will have to struggle to obtain anything else other than your basic necessities. Like, oh yeah, we'll provide you with free food or whatever, but if you want to get anything above that, if you want a PlayStation or want any sort of hobbies, then you're going to have to get permission from all of your coworkers. And if the coworkers say that your hobby is not important to them, then guess what? You don't get it. Also, they're voting on the distribution of wages. So, the 51% of workers can get together and say, hey guys, why don't we team up and vote for our wages to be higher at the expense of the 49%? The same goes for the luxury goods. They get all the luxury goods and you don't get any. How people can possibly think that's a good system to run off of is beyond me.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like leftists already think like this though, like that guy. Because if you think about the psychology of the people and like people, I feel like today, there's a lot of jealousy, right? Or envy.
Yeah.
And so it's sad because like people want to virtue signal, be like, oh, I'm so happy for them. But they're really like, but I'm kind of envious. Like, so if you were able to be like, if someone wanted this and you have in yourself the ability to stop them from doing it, then they'll probably stop them from doing it because they want it too. So it's just kind of like going to be like, okay, so either we collectively get this or we're collectively miserable. And I think it'd be more like everyone would be collectively miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so crazy because you even think about when we talk about like corporations and stuff, I was talking about this the other day, how we've been so brainwashed into thinking that corporations are bad for making money. Like a business is bad for making money. They shouldn't be allowed to make money. All their money, they can't make a single profit. It all needs to go to employees. Am I saying that all companies are great? No. Okay. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is like we've been conditioned to think all rich people are bad. If they have more than you, then they're bad or whatever. And that if a company tries to make money, they're bad because they're putting profits over people. Right?
Yeah.
And that's not always the case, And so it's I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, well, here's the thing. And I've explained this to a couple people before. It's like you open up a business. Who's taking all the risk? You are. Okay.
Right.
And when you open up the business and you hire people, you're hiring them to do a job.
And you're the last one to be paid.
When you go to work, do you pay for the toilets to be cleaned? Do you pay for the water that's used every time you flush the toilet, every time you wash your hands, every time when there's a sink to get water? Do you pay for that water? Do you pay for the electricity that you leave on? Do you pay for the computers that you have to use? Do you pay for the equipment that you use? Do you pay for any of the paper that you use? All that stuff that you come into a business and use, do you pay for all that? No. So what makes you think you're entitled to a portion of that profit?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, there's going to be
none of the risk.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, so what happens? So then, okay, then when you get paid, then the company should if you want a part of it, then the company should take to divide all the money for all that stuff that they have to use, and then all the time it took them to calculate all that, then and then they get paid back all that money, and then you get a check. I guarantee you, you will lose more. Oh, and then you got to pay taxes on it. So I guarantee you will lose more money if you had to put in than you're getting paid. And people have been like, that's not true. You want to bet? You want to do the math? How about I got an idea. Let's do a socialist experiment. You go figure out the math and you tell me. Well, no, that's not why should I? Because you want to be this is what it is. You want I'm going to tell you something. You figure it out. No, you figure it out. No, I'm not. Then fine, I'll pay. Then you have to pay me for my time then. Well, then you have to pay me for my time. No. Why? I'm the one who owns the business. You wanted to be fair, so we'll do the fair. You're getting part of it, so you figure it out. And it's just like it. Yeah. It's so. People are just so quick to just automatically think that these people make all this money, and yeah, they do. Like, yeah, Jeff Bezos makes a shit ton of money. Jeff Bezos has a giant boat. You know what Jeff Bezos' boat does? Employs people. You know, Jeff Bezos.
His companies do employ people, and they employ people that employ people.
And then you know what happens when you employ you make money, and then you decide, hey, I'm gonna open up a second store. You employ more people.
Well, but it's so true because we have been so conditioned through media, education, everything that being an entrepreneur-ish type person or owning a company, like it's like weird. It's like you're kind of taught like, oh, the American dream, be your own boss, but also the boss is an asshole and I can't believe he's making more money than me. And you're like, wait, but that it like doesn't compute.
Yeah.
But it also, like, I think about, you know, like socialist and like socialist thinking, and the only way that it'll work is if there's monolithic thinking. Right? And you have to have alpha personalities all gone. All alpha personalities, all leader personalities need to be eliminated. Because everyone has to go in lockstep. And that's why it never works.
Yeah.
It never works because not everybody wants to be complacent at just this one, like, one status. So people want more.
I'm trying to find a video because I thought I sent it to myself for my other account, but there was a guy, he was talking about he owns a Subway. He bought a Subway, and he was breaking down all how much everything costs and everything like that, and he was saying he worked 7 days a week, 13 hours a day, and with everything being paid and everything like that, he got paid $1,300, I think, or no, he made $960 for the week after everything for 13-hour days, 7 days a week, 91 hours he worked. He's a franchisee because he has to pay. That's another thing. You own a franchise, you have to pay.
Oh yeah.
You have to pay the franchise tax.
Yep.
So I mean, it's
if you're doing Chick-fil-A, it's fucking worth it though, because within 2 weeks of you being open, you'll make it all back.
Give me 1 second. Hold on. Talk about something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay, talk about something. All right. Well, while he's gone, I'll actually tell you all. You know what? I don't know. No, I'm not going to get into that just yet. I'll wait for him to get back on that. But yeah, so as kids and everything like that, what do they always say? It's like if you're a kid and you were never a Democrat, you never had a heart. But if you're older and were never a Republican, you don't have a brain type thing. And as kids, we're taught how sharing is caring, all this other stuff. So it helps with this like creep that comes in when it comes to socialism. And you hear about, like I know I read the Communist Manifesto for the first time not too long ago. I don't remember all of it entirely, but I was reading it. And when you start reading something like that, you're like, oh, that sounds good, until you're just like, wait a second. Okay, what do you mean all the kids belong to everybody? And it's like I was saying earlier, it is, you have to have a monolithic way of thinking for it to work, and people bring up countries that are smaller and they're like, oh, well, it works, socialism works in Denmark or Sweden or whatever, and then those countries come out and be like, well, we're not socialists. Like, stop saying that.
And listen, and you want to know what else is funny? They picked the whitest countries. You notice that?
Yeah.
It's Denmark, Sweden,
yeah.
Australia.
It's not even just whiteness. It's also they're monolithic countries. Like, there's no diversity.
No.
Whatsoever. Like, and they don't allow immigration. So.
And we're the most diverse. And that's another thing. I'm sick of. Nobody is demonizing legal migration. Everybody that I've ever talked to has always said the legal migration, legal immigrants, it sucks. It really sucks. It sucks that it takes 20 years and $20,000 to become a resident. It sucks. But once again, go to another country. There's some countries you need $500,000 in your bank account to become a citizen. There's countries
some countries say, no, I don't care. Even if you're born there, like, they don't care. You don't know, your parents are traveling to, whereversville, and they have you while they're on vacation. You're not a dual citizen.
Yeah.
Of whateversville and wherever your parents are from. No, that doesn't happen.
And it sucks. But if this country is so racist and sucks so badly, why do people keep coming? Why do you want to be part of this country that is so racist and so against people, so against minorities? Obviously, there's something good about this country.
Yeah.
Or else they'd be going other places. They'd be seeking asylum in other countries. No. One, they come here illegally because they know they'll be taken care of by the government. And two, why the fuck are we allowing illegal immigrants to carry firearms, by the way? Did you hear about that?
My theory. Yeah, I told you my theory.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to say it again. It's becoming more and more prevalent. You, as an American citizen in certain states, are not allowed to carry. You're not allowed to carry in Chicago. Guess where they're allowing illegal immigrants to carry? Chicago.
It's like, I feel like, I don't know, like, it's done on purpose. At this point, how can you not say, like, that the destruction of America is being done on purpose? I said it within the first 4 weeks of Biden being inaugurated or whatever, and like all the stuff, like all the EOs that he put in, getting rid of like Trump era immigration stuff, and then re-putting in all the business regulations that Trump had gotten rid of. And I was like, okay, here we go. And then just everything that's going on with the immigration issue and things like that, like, how is it not like mutual ensured destruction that's happening right now? And he's just like, yeah, but everything's fine. It's like that meme where there's fire all around and the guy's like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Or he's the kid on the swing when like there's fire in the background. He's like, smirking like, yeah, I did that. Like,
I'm just
crazy.
I'm trying to see. Listen, I think I like these things, but I thought I had the thing where it was saying that they were allowed to. By the way, I love things like this. And if you don't see these things, and you're still like, yeah, rah, you're dumb. Gavin Newsom restaurant offering job at $16 an hour despite new law of $20 an hour for fast food workers. That's his restaurant.
Okay. Hold on. there could be there's differences in restaurants. Restaurants don't have to abide by minimum wage because tips. I was making, honestly, it was 2016. I was making $2.40 an hour, $2.40 an hour because of tips. $2.
No, I know. They still do it. They still do it. But that's for a part-time job at a cafe as a busser. Bussers don't make tips.
Yes, it depends. Sometimes they do.
Well, they get tipped. They're supposed to get tipped out by the wait staff.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much the wait staff makes. But still,
right.
Bussers aren't normally tipped for the most part.
Right.
So, but still $16 an hour when listen, he said it's a $20 minimum guaranteed. So we don't even know. They might not be even making tips. They might not. By the way, I'm sick and tired of tipping everybody. I truly am. I went to Subway today, bought Amanda a sandwich, and he was asking me to tip the fucking person. No.
Here's a tip. Get a different job.
Yeah,
No.
I'm sorry. I've never had to tip a fucking restaurant worker ever before because they're supposed to be making whatever in an hour because, like I said, tipping was for restaurants where servers are making $2 an hour. This person is making at least $15 an hour. I'm not tipping them. And if restaurants start paying their workers $16, $17 an hour, $20 an hour, I'm not tipping them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you're making $20 an hour, I'm not going to tip you. I tipped you because you worked for your service. I worked in the service industry for a little while, and they don't make anything. And it's a whole industry based on whether, how you serve, and it's a garbage industry. And now they're getting regular.
I love it. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a garbage industry the way they get paid, but it's a fun industry because listen, I was like 17 years old and I was going to the bartender's house for parties and shit. Like it was like waiting. It was like waiting.
Yes.
It was entirely like waiting, and it was a fun atmosphere. And some people are shit and some people are not. But
oh man, I was huge pregnant when I was waiting the last time. Huge. With Cooper, with my 8-year-old.
But
I had some really nice customers though. They like gave me baby gifts and stuff. One guy made me cry. I called him a shithead and I left and I started crying and I was out back bawling hysterically because he didn't want broccoli and I gave him broccoli on accident instead of rice. And I was like, oh my God, you're such a poop head.
Pregnancy brain.
Dude, horrible. But when you're pregnant and you work at a restaurant, every cook is your best friend because they give you food.
Listen,
it happened. I'm to tell you what.
It's with every job. Like there's ups and downs with every job. And when you become a server, you know kind of what you're doing. You know what you're getting yourself involved in. And and a lot of people I worked at I didn't work. I went to a diner when I was a kid, because that's what we did in Jersey. You go to diners at 2 a.m, and we would sit at our table. Like I remember some nights we'd go to the diner at like 11. We'd sit there, play cards all night, and just fucking hang out. We got to know the waitresses, and we tipped them very good for being younger because we sat at their tables and we kind of entertained them and stuff. And then we'd go we'd go down the shore at leave for down the shore at like 4 a.m. to be there for sunrise and whatnot. And it was fun, but like there was a couple, like I went back to the diner when I went to Jersey and this lady was still at working. There was still a couple ladies still working at this diner from when I was in high school, so it's like they know what they're doing. They make a good living out of it. A lot of them do, especially when you're in a smaller town and you're seeing the same people over and over again. And and you're kind of like, you become family, like that whole, like, hey, what's going on? Like Jersey thing is a real thing. Who's a good tipper, whose kids, cause you've seen kids grow up. Like by our house was Diner 23 and Pompton Queen. Sundays, they'd be packed from church and during like after proms and after school dances be packed. And Sundays. So you'd have the regulars and so they knew what they were doing and they'd make some decent coin. There sometimes you see some of them flip out and because people would fucking gyp them out of some money, and rightfully so. But you know, when you're going into the food industry like that, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. If you're going to be a server and you're bitching about how much you're making, you didn't do your homework. You did not do your homework at all. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of these kids are doing. They're just taking these jobs and just going into it blindly and like, yeah, sanitation worker sounds like a good idea. Let me get into sanitation. Yeah, you're a garbage
They make
man.
good money though. Yeah, they make good money.
Drivers do, but you got to know something. I had my buddy Keith was a garbage man, and he got fired because he was drinking on the job. They get drunk. They have a tendency to drink, but he was making I think he was making $13 an hour on the back of a truck, and it was only a couple hours a day. So he wasn't making great money. You know, the guys who were driving the trucks.
Bad.
The guys who were driving the trucks, but I mean, you know, I guess, but sitting in the back of a truck smelling garbage all day. But
well, and and most of the time it's a government job too.
Yeah, most of the time.
So
But
they might get pensions and stuff.
But
if you're in this is the first time I ever had to deal with this, is in Ohio. You had to I always lived in places where it was like a government thing. Like they came and they that's what you pay taxes for. In Ohio, that is not how it works. It is not how it works. It's like $12 a month or whatever. But I'm like, I don't understand because there's only one company. So it makes no sense to me.
I am 2 seconds away from blasting our garbage company. I don't know the name of it. I keep telling Amanda to give me the phone number, and she hasn't. There's 2 people on this street who use that garbage company, and they forget every fucking week.
Yeah. That's
They forget to pick up our garbage and the towns try to put an ordinance that you can't have your garbage can out in front of the house. And thank God Amanda, you know, puts her fucking foot down and was like, absolutely not. Find me. Go ahead. There's no way. You don't pay for the garbage. I don't pay the town for the garbage. I pay a company for the garbage. In Topeka, where I used to be, it was $90 something a month for the garbage, and it wasn't a town.
Are you kidding me? Amanda said that the number's on the side of the can with the number.
All right. Listen, I don't pay attention. What can I say? But yeah,
the more you know.
But they forget because there's only 2 people on this block, so they forget time and time again. Then they said they were going to do a big pickup because, you know, during the storm we had a couple of weeks ago, and because during Christmas time the holiday fell on like a Sunday or Monday, and they were going to do an extra pick. No, nothing. We leave garbage on the side because they said they were going to do an extra two bags a week for 2 weeks. Put the bags to the side. Didn't even pick up the garbage. It's just, yeah, it's aggravating because people who do customer service, and I get it, I'm in customer service. There's only so much you can do, and I understand that. But when your job is to make sure that the garbage is being picked up from 2 houses on the fucking street every week, and you can't even do that. I mean, come on. Like when I went and got my car done. I'm not going to say the name of the place because I got my car back, okay? Happy I got my car back. But I blew up my tire on last week. I forget when it was. But I blew up my tire. I have a Lincoln. I'm not used to hoity-toity shit, okay? So I wasn't thinking. I'm just used to going and buying the rim bent, going and buying another because I did it to my Scion when I had a Scion. I just went and bought fucking rims off Facebook Marketplace, went and got the rims done, got the tires put on a rim, and then I used that rim. That's what I'm used to. So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, that's right. I think I have some kind of now I ordered the rim already, so I have an extra one, and I got it, thank God, because now I have an extra rim just in case anything happens. But I'm like, wait, I think I have some kind of service for the rims when I bought the car. So I call the place I bought it from, explain it to them. She's like, yeah, you have a service, anything over $50, they'll take care of. I said, beautiful. I said, I'm in Kansas now. Will they take care of it here? She's like, yeah, it's part of the whole car package. No matter where you are, just take it to a Lincoln dealership, Lincoln Ford, and they'll fix it for you.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Found the place right by the house. I call them. I take it in. I'm on a donut now. I'm on a donut for about a day, maybe 2. Go in. I tell the guy what the problem is. Tells me, I've never heard of that. We don't offer that. I go, I called Lincoln where I bought the car, and they told me I have it. They said, all you have to do is look it up in the system. I don't know how to look that up.
Did you get hosed?
I said, he goes, well, call them and tell them, ask them what company that I have to go through. Okay. Maybe it wasn't like that. Maybe that's the way I heard it in my head, because I was aggravated because he seemed like he didn't want to help. So he wanted to take it to a Ford Center. Not, yeah, well, listen, I wanted to take it to, it was Ford Lincoln, whatever. I took it to Lincoln. See how I got treated, by the way. So I says to him, I call up Lincoln back in Jersey, and the girl tells him, hey, just run his VIN number in this and it'll come up. And he goes, okay. So he runs it. He goes, oh, we've never offered this service, so I had no idea. And she's just like, well, it's in this. All you had to do was run his VIN number and you would have found it. He's like, all right, well, we'll take care of it. Thank you. And I was like, okay. I go, I got a donut in there. Is it okay to drive? Yeah. Okay. So drove it to work. And I'm looking through my stuff and I'm like, let me call Lincoln Concierge. I'm like, when I was reading in the stuff, I'm like, they're supposed to they're literally, if I got it need an oil change, they're supposed to come pick it up. Like, it's a white glove service thing with Lincoln. They're supposed to come pick it up, take care of it, bring it back to me. So I called and I talked to the lady and I go, yeah, so this happened. And I'm driving like 150 miles from work and home. She goes, wait, what? I go, yeah. She goes, on a donut. I go, yeah. She goes, donuts are only supposed to go like 50 miles. She's like, I know they've made some updates to it, but you're supposed to only really go 50 miles. And I go, well, I'm doing 150 miles a day. And the guy was just like, yeah, you can drive on it. The donut, that's fine. And I go, and she goes, no. She goes, I'm going to email them right now. Tomorrow morning, they will have a rental ready for you. And I go, okay. She goes, I'm going to tell you this right now. Call them because I guarantee you they won't call you. And I go, I guarantee you they won't. Next morning, they open at 7. It was 8 o'clock. I called them and I go, hi, I was talking to blah, 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 concierge. And he's like, hold on, who are you talking to? I said the guy's name. He goes, hold on 1 second. And he comes back. He goes, oh, he's with a customer right now. He said, come in. We have your rental ready for you. I said, okay. So I went, picked up my rental. When I dropped the car off, they said 3 to 4 days before I got the rim back. I picked up the rental. They said your car will be done tomorrow.
Oh my God. They probably laid one stinky fart in your car too, just to show you, man.
So I take the rental and I kind of I stuck it to him a little bit. Like they called me this morning at like 7. They're like, your car's ready. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there later. And he's like, oh. I'm like, I'll be there later. Okay. So I got there around like 10 o'clock or whatnot. My car was already done. They fucking washed it, which it needed a washing. But
that was nice.
But just the fucking it's a fucking Lincoln. Like, you're supposed to be treated very well. They're not cheap cars. They have a concierge and for somebody in the service center to just tell you you're allowed to drive on a donut for miles on miles on miles. Like, it's just customer service has just gotten so bad. Like people don't care. And this is why, like, when people talk about the fight for 15 or $20 an hour and stuff like that, it's not going to do anything. People aren't going to be happier with their job.
So no, when it comes to like the fight for 15 and different things like that, especially for like fast food and everything, my husband's like, yeah, once I can get my order right 2 consistent times, then we can talk about it. Because he was talking to me. He's like, during COVID, he's like, I swear, like, do you feel like during COVID it just got worse? Like every order you got was just wrong, everything wrong. Like, my husband hates pickles. Like if he smells a pickle, he's like, ugh, ugh.
Man,
and myself and my 2 sons love pickles, so he refuses to touch them. If one of my sons wants a pickle, he's like, go ask your mom. Like he won't touch it. He won't look at it. He sees it in the fridge. He's like, ooh. He accidentally took a bite out of my son's grilled cheese that I had put pickles in it. And he like about threw up in the sink. And I was like, don't just eat people's shit randomly. That's what you get. Anyway, but he was saying, yeah, it just like during COVID, it felt like when you'd order something like online or like at a fast food restaurant, like sound like freaking Maxie Waters right now. At a gasoline station.
At a restaurant.
Yeah.
At a Walmart.
Yeah, because like every time you'd get an order, you would have to check it before you even left the drive-thru because it was always wrong. Always.
So there's a McDonald's over here right by us. And I've gotten there 4 times. 4 times. Out of the 4 times I've been there, they've gotten it wrong 3 times. They've gotten it wrong 3 times. And it, like the 3rd time, I was fucking I was aggravated to the point where I put it in reverse and almost hit the car behind me because I just fucking slammed on the gas to turn, because I started pulling away and I'm like, let me make sure. And I got like half of my back window was at the window, and I looked in and wasn't even close. I get the same thing. Amanda Spencer get the same thing from McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
It's just a little different. One likes pickles. One wants pickles. One wants no pickles. One wants no onion. Okay.
Right.
And I look in the bag, and there's like a fucking Whopper and apple pie, and I'm like, this is not it at all. And like I said, this was the 3rd time. So I put it in reverse and I started to hit on the gas, and I looked behind me and the fucking car was like this behind me because nobody can fucking wait for their stuff. And I stood there and I almost got out of the car like right there and just like fuck everybody behind me. But then I was like, you know what? People behind me, it's not their fault. And as I was going in, the lady comes out with my fucking order. And she's like, sorry. And I was fucking pissed. But the 2nd time, I was literally laying on the horn because I looked in and it wasn't my order, and they closed the window. Like this dude, mind you, like he has his headphones in. He has his fucking Beats headphones on at the window. Didn't even look at me, just handed it over to me like this and just closed the window and went back in. And I looked inside and and it wasn't mine. So I hit the horn. Nobody. Hit the horn. Nobody. I fucking laid on the horn. And finally, he opened the window. He goes, what? I go, this isn't my order. He's like, oh, let me see the ticket. I go, here's my ticket. Here's the ticket you gave me. Oh, hold on. Close the window. Give me the order. I gave it back to him. He goes, here you go. Have a nice day. Like, no, like, they don't give a fuck. And you really want to think that 15 or 20 or $30 an hour is going to really make them care anymore? No. They're gonna just take it and continue doing the same shit. It's just
not if you work at Chick-fil-A. They're very bouncy over there.
Listen,
this one guy at one of our Chick-fil-A's, like, I'm like, I don't know what sunshine you're drinking in the morning, but I want some of that, because if he was a cult leader, I'm telling you, there'd be a bunch of people like Yeah, I'll follow you.
Chick-fil-A reminds me of the Book of Mormon, okay? Think about it.
There's a lot of. Oh, are you talking about the play or
Yeah.
the actual Book of Mormon?
No,
There's a lot of penises
the play.
in the play.
The play. It reminds me of the play. Like, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
I love my job. I love this place.
It was the best place I ever worked in my life. I worked there for almost 3 years. And every time we go to Chick-fil-A, my son says, my mom used to work at Chick-fil-A 20 years ago. I'm like, shut up. I'm not that old.
Oh my God, dude, isn't it weird? Like you say like 10 years ago when you think, Amanda asked me the question the other day, but I had answered it already. She's like, yeah, when I say like 20 years ago, what year do you think? And I said 2002 or 2004. And she's like, oh, but I had seen a TikTok before that because my original answer would have been 92. 20 years ago was 92. Like you watch these movies nowadays, we're like older than some of the people in some of the movies that we've watched. And we thought that they were old. Like Chevy Chase was in his 30s when he made Christmas Vacation. You're like, what the fuck? I'm older than Chevy Chase now than when Chevy Chase was a dad then. And then you like, you know, you kind of forget that like we're kind of like we're older parents kind of. Like I know I'm an older parent. You know, I'm gonna be a dad
Everyone's
again.
older parents nowadays. It's fine.
Yeah, well, no. Listen, if you're on TikTok, there are girls who are like, I seen a video of a girl who was 22 and she had 4 kids.
What?
Yeah. 22 of 4 kids. And there was another girl who was 21 with she was 24 with a 9-year-old. Do the math. Yeah.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, there's these young kids are having, and that's, you know, kind of a big thing. Like these young kids are having kids at such a young age and they're not mentally prepared for it.
And they're just 16 and pregnant.
And well, I mean, I blame the whole fucking
mom.
the whole thing, the whole system where, you know, you get pregnant at a young age and you have parents who are very strict and very Bible oriented, or saying that you have to have this kid, or, you know, and they're not getting abortions. And so they're having these kids. And now the parents are like, well, you have to raise the kid. And then now you have these teens raising children. You have children raising children, and they don't know how to be adults because we barely know how to be adults.
I'm sorry. They shouldn't have sex. No sex then. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. Listen.
The whole sexualization of children shows like the Euphoria, like RH went like Skins and shit like that. All of it.
We had kids where the kids were passing out fucking HIV to each other, and all of us were just like, I'm not having sex. Fuck that shit.
Dude, I mean, you look at a lot of even these teen shows, like especially like when we were growing up, like a lot of the teen shows, they were like 25 playing like they're 16,
mm-hmm.
You know? And like these adult like, what was it? There's this one show, The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Okay. This is with Shailene Woodley before she like got big and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's about a 15-year-old girl who gets pregnant. And so I'm watching the show, and my dad is like, what the fuck are you watching? All they talk about is sex in here. And these kids are supposed to be 15 years old. I'm like, shut up, Dad. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Listen, I tell Spencer all the time, I go, dude, you think you're the first person to think of these things? Like, we were kids too. Like, I know it's hard for you to conceive this in your head, but the things that you think are new to you are not. Like, we've thought them. Like, we've had those thoughts, and we've we thought we were smarter than everybody else. And now we're here like, oh, so we weren't so smart. No, oh, the parents. Like my dad used to call football plays. Like we would always watch football on Sundays. And my dad would just be like offsides. And I'm like, how the fuck does he holding?
Yeah.
Roughing the passer. Like, are you a wizard, dude? Like, how the fuck do you know these things before the ref calls it? And now that I'm older and I watch football, I go, I see myself doing the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, you watch it over time, you can see what happens and you can probably guess what's going to happen. And most likely, like 95% of the time, if you're watching enough, you'll know what's going to happen. So like, and I would always just be like, how the fuck do you know this? And then now as I got older, I was like, oh, okay. So now when the kids do stuff like that, you're just like, dude, you're not the first one. Like my father would never explain that shit to me. My father would never just be like, oh no, you know, after what my dad would just be like, yeah, I'm good. What can I say? I know football. I know this. I know that. But now it's just like, dude, like I try to explain, like, I've had these experiences. I've done this before. Why don't you want me to help? Because you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to do like my dad did and yell at you for not giving me the right screwdriver or yell at you for not turning the thing the right way or yell at you for dropping it. Because I know if I give you this heavy thing, you're not going to hold it the right way. You're going to drop it. I'm going to get mad at you. You're going to look at me like, I didn't mean to do it. And it's going to ruin my day. So instead of ruining my day, I'm going to break my back. So that way I don't have to yell at you.
Show them how to do it. Patience, the old curmudgeon.
I know. I am old and I'm a curmudgeon.
You're like one of the old Muppet dudes that's like,
Listen, if I could take Amanda and carry her to work, put her down, let her work, carry her home, I would. Just don't move. Just, I got it. Stop fucking moving. It's okay. Stop. Just stop. You know.
Oh,
but
man.
It's in the same token. It's like I'd rather suffer than have my family suffer. You know, and that's just the way I am. And I think most guys, I'm not talking about fucking boys, because some of these fucking older men who do some stupid fucking shit, they never grew up. They're just boys.
Yeah.
Men know how to take care of a family. Men will do whatever they can to take care of a family. A man will do what he can to sacrifice for his family. A boy will just go and find something to fuck and anything to put his dick in and just go around and just be like, well, you know, I was getting lonely and we weren't paying attention. No, you know, you have to be a fucking man. Be a man. You chose to be a family person. You chose to have kids with a woman. You chose to settle down and you know, and be a fucking man. And I'm sick of it because I see it on online all the time. Like there was a girl, they were just trying to find this one dude because he just told his wife that he didn't want to be a husband or a father anymore. The lady was pregnant and he was just like, I don't want to be a dad or a husband anymore. So I'm going to go. See you later. And he was just gone. And it's like, dude, like how the fuck, like and what gets me mad is that like for as much as I wasn't the greatest dad to my daughter, I had my faults and I know that, but I did what I could to stay and be there as best as I could. And I just don't understand men who just get up and walk away. Like even if like me and Amanda were like a one night stand and it didn't work out or whatnot, or it was an accident and she was like, I couldn't just walk away. I couldn't just be like, well, good luck with that. Like, peace. Like, are you out of your fucking mind, dude? Like, you created a life together. Like, yeah, you might not have been together, but here you are. Now you're fucking stuck with her for the rest of your life, unfortunately, pal. And unfortunately, that's your child. And you take care of your child until, you know, they're an adult and you don't technically have to take care of them. You don't have any say in their life. So, hey, I love you. You're on your own. I'm here for you if you need me. Not to abuse me, but if you need me. But yeah, it's something that, just it pisses me off, man. And like I said, I'm not a perfect person. Wasn't the perfect husband. I wasn't the perfect fucking father, and I felt like I did what I could to try and be there when I could.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at these guys who just go, see you later, I'm just like, well, listen, I didn't fucking do that, did I?
Well, what's crazy though is nowadays, like you have all that stuff going on. I feel bad for the kids because all the kids are getting inundated everywhere, and especially now at schools. And this kind of goes into like something that has happened to me today.
Oh yeah.
And it's really important. And it's like, this is kind of like towards the end of the show. So I just wanted to
I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, I mean, good lead in though, because this is fucking wild.
So my son he came home and I got a message on, one of the school 50,000 apps that they have for schools nowadays. And there was a message that the kids are going on a field trip to the zoo at the end of the month. And I was like, okay. So I asked my child for the permission slip so I could sign it, send it back, whatever, pay whatever money I needed to. So I'm reading. It's like a 3-page permission slip. I'm reading the second page and it's like emergency contact, put my information, my husband's information. And then it asks us for our medical insurance policy, like our policy number, telephone number for the policy, and the company. And I'm like, what the fuck do they need to know that? And so then I go to reading. It's like a 5-point agreement, right? That I'm signing just for my kid to go on a field trip. And, it goes like the normal, like, hey, I agree to like pay for the fees for my kids to participate in the field trip. And then it says, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Okay. It says, I authorize my child's teacher, blank. So you fill in the blank, an adult in whose care the mild child has been entrusted in during the field trip, to do any acts in which may be necessary or proper to provide for the health care of the minor child, including, but not limited to, the power to A, provide for such health care to any hospital or other institution, or to employ any physician, dentist, nurse, or other person whose services may be needed for such healthcare, and to consent to and authorize any healthcare, including administration of anesthesia, x-rays, examination, performance of life-sustaining procedures. This consent shall be effective only during the field trip in the described field trip. By signing the below, I indicate that I have the understanding and the capacity to communicate healthcare decisions, and that I am fully informed as to the contents of this document and understand the full import of these grant of powers to the agent named herein. Then it goes on to say that I also agree to accept responsibility to pay any of the medical and hospital fees, charges, emergency medical care authorized by the teacher listed as the above in an emergency. I also further agree to indemnify and hold harmless the facility sponsor, the volunteers or chaperones, Board of Education, its agents, employees, and representatives from and against any and all suits or cause of action which I or my child may have or claim to have for any injuries arising from, out of, during, or in connection with the child's participation in the field trip or the rendering of emergency medical care or treatment, except for injuries caused by gross negligence or intentional wrongdoing. For a fucking field trip to the motherfucking zoo. He just wants to see a fucking elephant, man.
They want to take your children. They want to take your children.
How many parents? But and here's the thing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get all out there and everything like that. But if you think it's the principle of the matter, like what would happen if you have a kid on this field trip who says that, hey, I feel like
fucking Joseph. Hi, Joe.
Yeah, like what if the kid's like, hey, I feel like I'm not supposed to be in this body, but my parents don't feel that way. Could they send that kid to an institution because they're like, hey, well, he needs to get checked out or whatever? Because, you know, it says other institutions besides like a hospital.
Mommy, I feel like a teacher. I feel like a gorilla, and I think I should be a gorilla. So can you send me to the hospital so I can turn into a gorilla? Like, how far away is this? How far away is this zoo?
Like an hour.
An hour. So they can't transport your son to the hospital and you come to the hospital and make the decisions for him? They need to be the power of attorney for your child.
That's what I said. I was like, this is literally giving my son away for a day.
To the state.
Like, I mean, to the state, like to the teacher. Well, here's the thing. As a teacher, I wouldn't want to sign this either. I don't want that responsibility.
Well, it says not only to the teacher, it says to the Board of Education, to all the underlying things. So it's basically you're giving your child away to the state for the day.
Well, no, well, you can't hold those people accountable if there was any injury.
Well, the same thing with the fucking the vaccine. You can't be held. The people who give you the vaccine can't be held accountable. But yeah, no, you can't be held accountable. But I want to make the decisions for your kids, but you can't hold me accountable.
Well, it's weird because on the first page, it asks for the emergency contact information, your insurance information, and policy number. And on the second page, it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'll take that information and use it on my own. And then, you know, just, I don't know. It like nowhere in here, though, which is very, really weird because it would make me feel better as a parent if in there they're saying before anything is done, we need to contact you, the parent. Like, I actually emailed my son's teacher and I was just like, what is this? Like, I was like, listen, I'm not trying to be difficult or anything, but first of all, it seems inappropriate for me to give you this information. Like, why should I give you this information? If anything happened, the hospital contact me.
Okay.
All right, what?
No, you reminded me. Because I wanted to play this. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I wanted to play this a couple weeks ago. And it'll help you out because I'm going to play two videos. The first video is the original video. The second video is a lawyer.
Okay.
I've been wanting to play this for a while now, and I've forgotten. You just reminded me.
Oh, hold on. All right, before you play it too, let's just say that the response back that I got from the teacher, she's like, yeah, that's kind of weird. But I have to talk to the school's legal. I have to talk to the county legal about this contract. And then we can determine whether or not my son will be able to even go to the fucking zoo.
You say you didn't want to go down a rabbit hole?
Hold on. Joseph said they need you to pay a deposit on your child with a credit card. You get your deposit back only if your kid is safely returned. Oh Lord. Okay.
This. Okay, I'm just gonna play this.
My 13-year-old daughter just brought home this student health questionnaire that the school nurse gave to everybody apparently and needs back immediately. But I need you to help me figure out if it's weird or not, because it seems weird to me. It starts out with the standard questions of, do they have any allergies? Do they have asthma, diabetes, seizure disorder, so on and so forth? You know, the things that a school would need to know and be aware of. But then there is another section asking about my pregnancy and her birth. So, was it a normal pregnancy? Yes or no? Please explain. Was her delivery a vaginal delivery, a C-section? Was it scheduled? Was it an emergency? Were there any complications? Please explain. Was she born full term, premature, or overdue? How many weeks gestation was she when she was born? Was she a single birth, a twin, or other multiple triplets? How much did she weigh? And then it's also asking, how old was your baby when they first sat up? Alone, unsupported. How old was your baby when they spoke their first words? How old was your baby when they started putting words together, forming sentences? How old were they when they first crawled? How old were they when they first walked? How old were they when they were potty trained? Do you feel that they were on par with the development of other children? Like, why? Why are you asking this? She's 13. She's almost 14. It's halfway through the year. She hasn't signed up for any sports or clubs or PE or anything like that that would warrant a new health questionnaire, which you fill out a health questionnaire at the beginning of every school year. But it's just the standard one, you know, like allergies, asthma, seizures, stuff like that. But why? Why do they need to know all of this? Why do they need to know if she was born by a vaginal delivery or a C-section? If there were any complications with my pregnancy or her birth? If she, how many weeks gestation she was when she was born? Like, I feel like I have never filled out anything like this. Maybe for kindergarten,
like the
or
doctor's
preschool,
office,
questions like this I can justify
like
for when they're very first starting school. But why do you need to know about my teenagers' infancy and toddlerhood? It just makes no sense to me. Maybe this is a totally normal thing, but you guys let me know if you have ever gotten anything like this, because it seems a little weird to me. My 13-year-old daughter just brought home this student health questionnaire that the school nurse gave.
Hello TikTokers, welcome to Real Law Talk. Thank you to one of our followers, Medina, for sending me this video. Other people have sent it to me also. This is a very important video and I want you to listen. This is going to take a while. So schools collect medical information on students for their safety. Does your child have allergies? Does your child have special needs? Every school does that. Schools are also a breeding ground for CPS cases. So these questionnaires, if you watch this woman's video, she's being asked to give information about the birth of her child, the complexities, how she's being reared. And the reason they're doing this, there's a category of CPS cases called failure to thrive. In other words, children meet certain milestones according to the pediatrics doctors. They should be walking by this age, they should be reading by this age, they should weigh this much. Sometimes children are sick, sometimes children need help, and they don't meet these standards. And CPS will file what's called failure to thrive cases. So in this case, if the mother gives all this information about her, let's say her child had severe medical needs, and she puts all this information on it will trigger a CPS investigation into what's going on. So only give the schools the information they need to protect your child's health. Give them nothing more. Do not discuss your family with other people. Do not discuss your children's health. Do not discuss anything other than with healthcare providers or with your own family, because CPS uses these forms to manufacture cases, and that's Real Law Talk.
I fucking never sign any shit ever. No, and you know what's
Ain't that some
like,
shit though? Like
it is.
they're gonna failure to thrive. They wanted all this information, and now they're going to use it against you to try to take your kids and have them be a ward of the state.
Yeah.
Just like what they sent home to you. They want your kid to be a ward of the state while they're at the zoo. And you don't think they're going to use that against you at some point? You signed this paper. You signed this paper saying that we have the ability to do this with your child.
It's just like, what the fuck do you expect to happen? And here's the thing though, is because I was really, really thinking about it. Because I call my dad, I call my mom. I was like, am I crazy? Because it's very weird what I noticed, especially like after COVID and like all the pushback that I got.
Wow.
Dang. Getting a little close there.
We hit a fucking button on there, huh?
I guess so.
Huh.
Oh shit. No, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like around COVID and everything, like I was pushing back at the school because I was like, you have to be an advocate for your child. But for me as a parent and like being indoctrinated so much into the schools, and like you see like schools, teachers, principals, all these things as a sense of authority, even as an adult. Like, and if you're real, I don't know why it is. I know that that's how it has been for me. It's like, why question? You shouldn't have to question. You were never taught to really question, in these institutions. And so for me, when I'm in these situations where I'm like, that doesn't feel right, I feel like I'm a crazy person and I'm making a stink about nothing, because I've been so indoctrinated into thinking that way that I actually had to go out and like, I had to talk to multiple people and be like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, I should feel like this is weird, because it is weird. And like, I just had this battle inside of me. Like, I don't want to be difficult,
But
they're trying to get power of attorney over my child for a day. Like, no, especially now in a day and age where we're also connected with like phones and emails and everything. Like, I could understand like back in the day when you didn't have cell phones and everybody was on a landline. I could understand maybe doing something like that. I don't think it's fully okay, but I could understand, like, it would make sense. Nowadays, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It seems like the more connected we are, the more far apart we are at the same time. Because now all of a sudden, you can FaceTime, the teacher can FaceTime you and have your child go with them in a FaceTime to the hospital and whatnot, but yet they want your child to be a ward of the state while they're at the zoo. And it's like, and I know what they'll say. I know. Mark my words. This is what they're going to say. Well, we just want to make sure that, if we can't reach you or anything like that, we have the ability to make sure your child is safe, because safety is our biggest priority with your child. And, we want to just make sure we can make that decision. And we want you to be able to know that you can trust us with that decision. And we don't want to, we don't want lawsuits or anything like that. So we just want to make sure that we're okay to do this with your consent. So we're just trying to get your consent with this.
The weirdest part though is like, okay, so say that they're on a field trip or something like that. Something happens, right? My kid has an allergy to a certain medication. I'm not going to say it here. He's got an allergy to a certain medication. The school knows that. His teacher doesn't. Yeah. My 8-year-old. Yeah. Oh my God. No, but like, so if something would happen and like they're at the hospital and his teacher's making a decision and they give him that medication, How the fuck is she supposed to know? She's not. They're gonna call the school and say, "Hey, does this person have any known allergies?" But while they're in the middle of a medical emergency, call the mom, like call the dad. They'll know.
Here's another thing: the school nurses can't even give kids Advil.
No, well, they can. They can. You, as a parent, before the beginning of the year, have to sign a paper saying that the school nurse is allowed to give them that type of medication. I said, you need to call my ass first before you give him anything.
Yeah, but they really can't give.
I tell you this, the school, they know who I am, and
that's probably why they sent that over.
I know.
That's why they sent it over to you.
You're
the only one. You and the other moms for liberty are the ones getting these fucking consent forms.
But I hate conflict. I don't like conflict. I don't at all. So doing this, I'm always like a conflict resolution person. I'm not usually a conflict starter. Some may disagree, but personally, I don't feel that way. I don't like it. So, being in this position, I don't.
It used to be called being a parent,
but
you're not a conflict starter. This is the thing. It used to be called being a parent. You used to be able to parent your child and make sure that your child was okay at school, or make sure your child it was okay to do things. Now, now you can't be a parent. Now that, once again, the teachers and the school knows everything, and you're a parent, you don't know anything. And it's like, no, fuck you. That's not the way it goes. And now if you go to a school where a child was fucking sexually assaulted and you complain about it, you're the problem. They want you arrested because you're making a stink about it. And, well, we did the best. No, once again, fuck you. You work for me. I pay your salary. Yeah. You're supposed to let me know this shit is happening. Same thing with the government. You work for me. And the more and more I see this, the more and more cops or anybody shows up at your door, fuck you. Come back with a warrant. Fuck you.
Well, literally, you are looking at live of me, like, trying to break out of that mental prison that I've been put in since a child, of being like, well, but they're supposed to know more than me. They're and I'm like, whoa. Like, getting out of that mind fuck is so hard. It is so hard. And like, I've done a lot to get out of it, but still, like,
you revert right back to it.
It's odd. It's very, I don't like it. I don't like this feeling. And it's very, it's uneasy. It's uneasy knowing that I have this mental box that I'm putting myself in. It's crazy. I don't like it at all. It's making me itch. Like, I can't.
Well, it's like the mask thing, though. It's like the mask thing we went through back in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we knew that this wasn't fucking anything when it first came out. Yeah, it was a fucking bad case of, but as it got more, it progressed more, we knew it was gonna be fine. And a lot of people were saying it was gonna be fine, but you had the know-it-alls telling you to wear a mask, and then these motherfuckers told you wear two, and then they told you this, and then now it comes out that maybe we knew, and we were ridiculed, and we were praised with, we were told we were gonna die by the fucking president of the United States. We were told we were going to die.
You got 16-year-old Peter checking you out at the fucking grocery store, yelling at you to put a mask on. You're like, dude.
Meanwhile, the guy who's
your mom.
Meanwhile, you had fucking you got your shot behind a 7-Eleven. Your doctor didn't even fucking administer
it. You
stuck
your ass out the window to get a swab in your butthole to see if you had COVID.
You were at a fucking stadium to line up to get shots in your car. You weren't allowed to go to your own doctor. Where are you supposed to go when you get sick? The doctor. Where are you allowed to go? The hospital. Where are you supposed to go when you get sick? The hospital. All those fucking people who knew everything, who were supposed to be telling us, the right thing, were sitting there fucking lying to our faces. So we're going to question everything. I don't give a shit if you send home a permission slip to give my kid fucking Advil. I'm going to question the entire fucking sheet that you give me. I'm going to say, well, why do you need this? Why do you need that? Why do you need this? What's this for? What's that for? Well, you're being difficult. No, I'm not being difficult. I'm being a fucking parent. And if you don't like me
Yeah.
being a parent, get another fucking job, because I'm not going to pay your salary if you don't do what I ask you to fucking do. And it just, that kind of thing just aggravates the shit out of it. And that's why I'm cursing so much, because it's come to a point where people are just fed up, and the people who are fed up are being looked at as the bad guy. And it's like, we're not the bad guy. We're just questioning why you're doing something to us, because you're doing nothing but lying to us.
But the hard part too, as a parent, like in this situation with the whole field trip thing, is like trying to guilt trip you into doing it. Be like, oh, well, he might not be able to go on the field trip if you don't sign that, right? And then I was thinking to myself, well, I'm a fucking stay-at-home mom, thank God, because okay, well then I'll just meet you fucking there. Like,
I'll chaperone.
The reason why I can't chaperone is because I have a 2-year-old too, and they're like, we don't want you to bring the sibling, blah, 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 whatever. So, and I'm just like, so. And the thing is like, I really do like his teacher, and I do. And I was just like, and I had said, I was like, listen, I am not trying to be difficult. I am not, but this makes no sense to me. And she's like, oh, well, it's just like, in case he needs a Band-Aid, or like he gets overheated, that we can treat him. And I was like, well, I get that. And like, I trust you with my kid, but I don't understand why I need signing this. The language in it is very odd. It's very odd. I don't like it. And what's the point if you not only have mine, but also my husband's contact information, in which we will be able to give you consent?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, does this make sense? And she's like, yes, it makes perfect sense. We'll get back to you. And I was like, okay. Like, and then I'm thinking, like, how many other parents have just signed it and not even read it, or asked questions about it, or thought nothing of it, like
a lot. Most of the parents have them.
And the thing is, I'm not thinking anything nefarious is going to happen in my situation, but it could. You see all these different things that are happening in other states where kids are being taken away from their parents because the parents don't agree with their
ideology,
whatever, like gender ideology thing. The kids, yes, right? Like, you've got parents getting taken away from kids and different things, and it's just like, who has control? In North Carolina, they just signed a parents' rights bill, right? And of course, Democrats hated it because it gave parents the right to be like, hey, my kid can opt out of social emotional learning, or hey, the school needs to let me know everything that's in the curriculum, or and different things, and they don't like it.
No.
And it's just like, so why can't we parent our kids anymore? They're teaching our kids things in school right now. It's called like the 7 habits of like a successful person type stuff, like they do in like the sales book, but it's different, but it's geared towards kids. And and I was telling you this before, but it's fine teaching your kids about like being independent and stuff like that, but you also have to teach them how to respect their parents. And that's not being taught in this whole thing. There is nothing about the parents in these 7 rules of things. So I've got an 8-year-old thinking that he's fucking Mr. Boss Man, telling me I can't tell him what he's got to do with his life. And I said, you got 10 more years, kid. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, but you're in my house now. Like, no, this is not how it works. He looked at me like I was a freaking horrible person.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm your mom. And I was like, the only person who has authority over you besides yourself is me until you're 18.
That's what I'm going through right now. It was funny because the other day, listen, I'm new here. Okay. I'm new here. So, and we're having a baby. And so the other day, Spencer goes, yeah, just to let you know, there's a bone in the hammer or anything like that. It's mine. And I go, no. I go, I get the bone. And if I'm nice, I'll give you some of it. Well, no, that's how it's going to go. And he was just like, well, that's how it's going to go. And so it's like these kids nowadays think that they're the boss. And they're not, they think.
I mean, I thought all kids think
Yeah.
that at some point in time. I'm just saying that the schools reinforcing
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is the bullshit part.
Yeah, I thought I was the boss for about 3 seconds, and then I got a fucking left hook from my mother and reminded me that I got no... Dude, I got punched in the face when I was 19. I talked back to my mother. I was 19. I was an adult living under my mother's roof, and I still got a punch in the face to remind me that as long as I lived under her roof, she was the fucking boss. Mind you, that time I was 5'8", 300 pounds. My mother's 5 foot, probably $190. Okay. She literally had to stand on her tippy toes to sock me in the face. But she did it to remind me that while I live under her roof, she's the fucking boss. And now that I live on my own and I have my own house, when she comes to my house, I'm the fucking boss. All right. And I remind her, my house, my rules. But that's what I tell, try to teach Spencer. Like, I get it. You want to be independent. And I understand that. I understand that you need to, you want to try to put on your big boy pants. But let me teach you how to put the pants on. Okay?
Yeah.
Let me teach you. So that way, when you are ready to put the pants on, you're ready to put the pants on. But don't try to put the pants on don't try to put both legs in one fucking, both of your legs in one leg hole and try to tell me you're the boss. All right? Because that's not how it works.
Well, it's like, you hear all these different things like on the news and like different media things about like schools and kids and different, and you're like, wow, that's crazy. But then you see it actually happening to your own kid in your own school, which you think is a really good school, but it's happening. And it's bizarre. It really is, because I don't live in a very
urban neighborhood.
Red. I don't live in a red area. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't live in a red county, so well, I guess the county itself, yes, but like where I am, it's not. Okay. So I don't know if it's just because of like the county that I'm in, the people that are on the school board. I started, I signed up for the whole Moms for Liberty. Everything I say here is not endorsed by Moms for Liberty, just so you know. It's not. But like, it is very, very bizarre. Like, so I'm gonna look up in different counties in my area and see if they have anything like this for permission slips, because I mean, nowhere in here does it say will contact you. Nowhere in here has anything to do with me, the parent, except for me paying and me not suing them. Yeah. Like, that's it. There's nothing in here saying that they're going to call me or contact me if anything happens. Like, it's bizarre.
It's a funny thing, because like all these young kids over here are very, and I say they're very spoiled, right? So and it happens, like, we don't think of it until it hits our neighborhood. We don't ever we talk about all this stuff, but until it kind of like hits us, that's when we go, whoa,
It's
what
a
the
slap
fuck?
in the face. It's
Yeah,
cold
it's a
in the water.
yeah, and we're just trying to tell you people that it's gonna come to your neck of the woods, and when it comes to your neck of the woods, we've been even Mama J, who we've been talking about this forever, and she's still shocked when she got that notice. It's one of those things where people talk a lot of shit, because I do it too. And then when it finally comes to where I am, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, for
Anytime there's a survey at school, opt yourself and your child out. That's all I'm saying. Because like that woman's survey, there are surveys that go around in my school. They had to specifically write an email to the parents letting them know that this particular survey would not be talking about their child's health stuff. So then what are you asking them about?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So and you may not think it's happening, but if you look just a little bit, if you see anything that says social emotional learning, look at those videos on your county website. Like, it's happening everywhere.
I have to do that every year.
Mm-hmm. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, general enrollment, it's so fucked.
It is, man. And it's like, it's so weird because you get pigeonholed. Like, you either sign this or you can't do X, Y, and Z. But then you can do X, Y, and Z. They just don't tell you can do X, Y, and Z. You have to do your own fucking research to do it.
Yeah.
Like when it came to my kids and his vaccination records.
Hi, Rich. Listen, it's only the end. We started really late. So, but
we started like an hour late. And what time is it? It's like 11 my time now.
Well, yeah, it's almost 10 my time, but yeah. But hopefully we got everything ready just in case Biz doesn't have to show up. Biz didn't show up this week. His power got shut off and he had no electricity because his landlord was working on something. So we kind of had to scramble, and this is what we were talking about. We weren't ready for anything. We weren't ready for fucking Sunday's show. We were last minute with it.
Oh, girl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it was kind of a put together show, and this is kind of a put together show, but we'll have to work on it and make sure we have everything ready coming in the weeks. And yeah, we're going to have to start doing fucking scheduled meetings with everything. So that way we kind of, get everything.
We'll try and see if we can get here on Friday for you all as well.
Yeah. And that's another thing. We're going to try to do 2 days a week with us, and then Rich and I for Odd Label, Off Label. I keep calling it fucking Odd Label. Off Label on Thursdays. We're going to try to go 2 weeks. I was streaming. I got to show you all something. Remember when I told you the next fight would be immigration being counted and text? Yep. Crockett just did it. Oh, no.
Wait, what? Hold on. What?
I was streaming. I got to show you all something. Remember when I told you the next fight would be immigrants being counted and Texas benefited?
I don't understand. What does that mean?
So basically, you know how on the census they were trying to get people from other countries, from the illegal immigrants, to be counted on the census and say,
right.
Apparently, they just did that in Texas, and now.
Oh, they just said it. That's what they want to do, is to allow them in the census in Texas.
Yep. So they're gonna get more.
Of course. Whoa, he all said it.
They're going to get more seats, and California's going to get more seats, and New York's going to get more seats. Everywhere I'm telling you, dude, it's such an inside fucking job that, it's a double-edged sword. Sending these immigrants to these sanctuary cities are good because the sanctuary cities got federal funding for it. Well, yes, but more than that. But yeah, now they're being counted and saying these people aren't. They need to be represented. I have more people in my district, so we need more seats. But yeah.
All right, we'll talk more about that on Friday then.
All right. Well, you can find me at MW Troublemaker on Twitter, and find me at Troublemaker Davey on TikTok, or Business Party Davey on TikTok. Mama J. Oh, and you can find us, me, tomorrow on Off Label Podcast. We will be starting at, I keep forgetting what time. I think it's 8 Central, 9 Eastern, or 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. I'm so off with that one. But yeah, me and Rich are going to talk about doing 2 days. We're going to start doing 2 days here, giving people more content, so we're not trying to jam everything into one day. Yeah, so don't forget to join us. And Sundays, apparently you guys have been enjoying the Weekend Hangover on Sundays. We thank you for everybody who stopped in on Sunday, who's been watching us. We're having fun doing it.
We didn't even get into Gypsy Rose last Sunday. That was all I wanted to talk about, and we didn't even touch on it. We'll get to that on Sunday.
We'll get because I
for
just
sure.
I just saw a little bit of it today, and this. She's gonna go back to jail. Holy shit!
She's not gonna go back
She's
to
gonna go
jail.
back to jail. Her and
She's
Nick have been.
not gonna go back to jail.
Her and Nick have been talking.
She's not gonna go back to jail.
Anyway, join us this weekend on Sunday for the Weekend Hangover at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Mama J, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Suburban Mama 1. Suburban Mama, the number 1. Find me there. Don't be a square.
Grow
like
a pair.
But...
Grow a pair. Amanda said something to me the other day. Somebody said to her, grow a pair of balls and come to work, and she goes, well, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm growing a pair of balls because we think it's a boy. We think it's a boy. So she's like, I'm growing a pair of balls. So you try doing that too. Have a nice week. We'll see you later.